Check 1, 2. Tell these
Take me to
rappers
the
I'm
guard.
outside, get them start acting up. And turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back to melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like Logic's ethnicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it. Welcome to precinct.
Fuck everybody on the front. When we see you on the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Well, I guess I'm filling in for Fraz. Yeah. Live and direct on your YouTube screen is your favorite Knicks and Ish panel. You know what I mean? I am the host, the one and only Tea Time. I don't got fireworks. This got to do it for me. I'm a spark plug. You know the the fireworks have left us. That's crazy. But yeah, you know, I am the host of Spark Plug Tea Time. We have the first lady of Knicks and Ish here, Mrs. Knicks, in the building. There go Kev.
Not
There
even
go
my hearts
Kev.
came up.
Huh?
Not even my hearts are coming up.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened, gang. We gotta figure this out. I don't like this. Kev is in the building. Yeah. It was good, my boy. We literally just started. We literally just started. Yeah, I mean, let me get through the bullshit before I forget. Yeah, I mean, if your first time to the show, make sure that you like, share, and comment. Sharing is always caring. Yeah, I mean, if you're new to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, set the notification bell to all so you don't miss no fire Knicks and Ish content. Yeah, I mean, even though it's the off season, after the finals, we will be going live once a week. If you need some Knicks and Ish merch, there's the link for the Shopify scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If not, go to the YouTube channel, and the Shopify is linked to the YouTube channel. So you go on the YouTube channel, you're gonna see merch. You know what I mean? So boom, you know, into the bullshit. You know, big news. Coach Tommy T was relieved of his duties after 5 seasons as the head coach of the New York Knicks, leading the Knicks to the playoffs 4 out of the 5 years that he was the head coach. Back-to-back 50-win seasons, and leading the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. The Knicks decided to part ways with Coach Tommy T. Since I started the show with the intro, I'm going to go around to the panel and ask them what's their thoughts on the firing or the relief of that's the term they use. He was relieved of his duties. Of Coach Tommy T being relieved of his oh, hold on, my bad. Hold on. Before we do that, Kev, I gotta get my shout outs first. You know the vibes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stephen Kennedy in the building. Michael Brown, we see you. Darlene is in the building as always. Knickerbocker Ave, pull up whenever you can, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know if Sis still in the building. And if you can hear me, send Knickerbocker Ave the link, please, and thank you. Hey, Kev, if you could do it, either one of y'all, I'm on my phone.
Hold on a second.
Whoever could do it, just send Knickerbocker Ave the link.
I did.
All right, thank you, sis. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Being that I did the intro, whoever want to go first, no, don't matter. Let's hear your thoughts on the.
Go ahead, sis. Talk your shit.
Being relieved of his duties.
I am much calmer today. Harlem. I am much calmer. Harlem.
Harlem ain't feeling it. Harlem ain't feeling it. Harlem ain't feeling it.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. I'm much calmer today than I was yesterday. When the news broke yesterday, I was in complete shock. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because I was dead set on the Knicks were going to run it back, at least give him one more year with the team together 1 year. Um, and it caught me way off guard. Kind of like everything else the Knicks have done in the last 2 years. Caught me completely off guard. Um, and then you sit back and think about it, and you can, at least I could, understand why the decision was made. Um, does it make it okay to not give him a little more time? We'll never know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. I appreciate all that he did for the team. I appreciate, him bringing us out the slums of the NBA. But I'm a lot more calmer. I think for me now, it's what's next. That uneasiness is what really, like, still has my blood pressure high. Like, coaches make or break a team. Because you can have the most talented team, but if a coach doesn't know how to utilize that talent, we're good as nothing. So that the not knowing what's to come is what scares me now. Now I'm over the, oh shit, they pulled the plug on some real like mafia shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. It's time to move on. Not okay with it. Hope it doesn't bite us in the ass. Cause y'all know I'm all about karma. But I want to see who's next. I'm glad it happened early in the summer and not at the freaking end.
Yeah.
But I surely hope that this organization has a plan and a smart plan, because we don't have time to be fucking around. Okay, this didn't work this year. We'll move on. We'll try something new. We need to win now.
Kev?
First off, I want to thank Tibbs, for the years that he gave us, for turning our franchise around, like Anna said, you know, making us a respectable organization again. Because for years we were the laughing stock of the NBA, and I feel like even the first time we missed on an opportunity of signing Tibbs. If I'm not mistaken, before he went to Minnesota, he wanted the Knicks job, but it for some reason the cards didn't work out that way, and we were able to bring him in, a few years back, and he was able to turn our franchise around and make it exciting again, and make you want to actually sit there and watch Nick basketball with some kind of excitement. you know um a lot of people thought that it was just a Tibbs thing, and I disagree completely. If you want to blame Pete, you want to blame the whole entire team. I think everybody had their bits and pieces of fault into why we lost in 6 games. It's just not a Tibbs thing. Everybody seemed to be pointing the finger at Tibbs, 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 and that's not the case. Um, you know, I feel like I trust Leon Rose. I trust his front office. Um, when they come out and make moves like this, unexpected moves, because I agree with Anna. Like I was going into the season or the off season with the same kind of mentality that we was gonna upgrade the bench, bring in some more of his guys, which he did with the starters, and bring in some of his guys to help upgrade the bench, and then give him another shot. And if that don't work out, then you move on and you do what you got to do. But for them to just bow right after, not even wait 2 weeks, son. Like they ain't even wait. They bow. Okay, you're done. Goodbye. It's over. Thank you for everything you've done. And from what I was told, he got fired while he was watching video uh from the Pacers Knicks series. I don't know how true that is, but
That's
that's
crazy.
that's what it is.
Believe it.
It's
It's
But but
believable
but
for sure.
but there you go. Tibbs already preparing for the off season, looking at film, doing all this stuff, and then boom. It's disappointing. But at the end of the day, like I said, I trust Leon Rose. I trust Worldwide West. They haven't let us down. It's because of them we are where we are. And listen, I'm gonna leave it in their hands. And you know, I'm still on the boat. I'm still on the boat.
Yeah, I am too. I ain't gonna lie. Initial reaction was, I don't want to say shocked. I wasn't
What the
shocked.
fuck?
It was more
Holy shit!
like disbelief. Like holy shit is shock. It was more disbelief. Like, oh man, I can't really believe they did that shit. Like, because I thought, making the Eastern Conference Finals definitely gave, Tibbs a little bit more leeway, at least another year. Yeah, I mean, and when I got the news, because Anna broke the news, I was at work. I was on the second half of a double, so I was barely awake anyway. So I'm looking at my phone like, wait a minute. I had to I had to focus, like, huh? So I'm standing around my coworkers like, oh shit, they just fired Tibbs. Everybody like, what? Everybody going on their phones. But I think I said it. I said I didn't believe that he would get fired, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did, right? I said this on one of the shows. Uh, you know, much scrutiny from the outside of his rotations, uh, his substitutions and all that. Not even from the outside, meaning like the media and fans. Even us included sometimes questioned his substitution packages and things like that. Uh, that's the knock on Tibbs, man. I think if he wanted to keep his job, that we had to make the finals. Like, not hindsight, you feel me? I'm just saying hindsight. This is after he got fired, but I thought making Eastern Conference Finals, he would have been solid. But I think the only way he could have kept his job, honestly, was making the finals. You know what I mean? Somebody said it, I can't remember who said it, and I kind of agree. I feel like this was already premeditated. They already had their finger on the trigger of getting Tibbs up out of here. Uh, and that's why this happened so fast. Yeah, I mean, there's rumblings. I don't know how true that is about the exit interviews and all that, and players, being upset with how he substitutes and shit like that. Obviously, not JB. Yeah, I mean, clearly, JB is not the one I'm talking about, but other people, other players, there was rumblings that they were upset with the way the rotations worked and how he was subbing people in and out. Again, this is stuff that I'm not 100% clear on if it's true or not. It's all rumors at this time, but
Right.
I I just think it was. Me personally, if you ask me, I think it was whack. I think
I
it was
thought
whack.
so too.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
thought so too.
huh?
I thought so too.
Yeah. It was whack. Uh, every year this team got better. Except for the one lapse year when we got Kemba and Evan. That outside of that, every year this team got better. His first year here we go from 21 wins, 21 wins or 17 wins. I can't remember.
17 wins.
Yep.
17 wins to the
To
fourth seed
41.
in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Hmm.
Right? Then we have the relapse year. That's what I like to call it, the relapse year. We went and made a major roster move that backfired, and that's more on Leon Rose than it is on Tibbs.
Right.
Uh, and I'm not shitting on Leon. Don't get it twisted. Leon, we trust. Don't
No,
don't get that.
listen, no, but it's the
Yeah,
truth. A fact is a
yeah, yeah,
fact.
yeah.
A fact is a
Yeah.
fact.
So yeah. So That was more on Leon Rose than it was on Tibbs. Then we go get more Tibbs guys. Then we get 50,
Word,
then we get
word.
50 wins. Then the next year he come back with 50. We get 50 wins and a first round W. You feel me? Then the next year we get 50 win. No, I'm missing something.
No, we won 50 we got 50 wins, then we beat the Cavs, went to the second round, and then the next year we won 51, and then we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
We beat the Cavs in front. So that's three. Nah, we missing a year. He had 3 in a row playoff appearance.
Here we go.
It was 47,
Uh,
47 wins.
47 wins.
47 wins. And we won the first round, right? We beat the Cavs.
Cavs.
Oh, right, we beat the
Yeah.
Cavs. Then we won
We won
50 wins the
yeah.
next season.
So we
Yeah.
did 17. Wait, 1,
Right,
2,
right. Then
3,
we got
4.
that right, absolutely. Then we got 50 wins. That's the year Julius Randle and them got hurt. We had
Yeah.
Dante.
Yeah. So
Right,
yeah.
right,
But
right,
no matter how you slice it, then you got the 47 win season first round W.
right.
Then you had the 51 season first round W. Then you got the 51 season first round W Eastern Conference appearance.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Eastern Conference Finals appearance, and it's like, all right, every year this team got better. Especially with the when you look at the major roster moves each and every year. Yeah, I mean that says something. So yeah, I mean, I was on a at one point fire coach Tommy T train for sure. Yeah, I mean, but I didn't never want to argue results. He was producing results. You feel me? It's unfortunate that Coach Tommy T had to go out like that. Because especially in a series that most Knicks fans thought we could and should have won, right? Uh, that sucks. I would have loved to see what he could have done next year. Yeah, I mean, solidifying the roster, having the roster another year, seeing what some of those guys were able to do in the playoffs and in the postseason might a lot. If we could have brought those guys back, like the Shamits, the Lon Wrights, I can see those guys getting more minutes next year. Yeah, I mean, uh, but you know, like Mrs. Nick said, you can't cry over spilled milk. Thank you, Coach Tommy T, for bringing culture back to the New York Knicks organization. Yeah, I mean, bringing that grit and toughness back to the Knicks, and bringing us back playoff basketball. Yeah, I mean, it was a great 5 years. Like as a Knicks fan, all the bull that we've been through over those years, these last 5 years have been a pleasure to watch basketball. The ups and downs, the highs, the lows. At the end of the day, most 4 out of 5 years we look was like, yeah, that was a good season though. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like we haven't had a stretch where we could at the end of the season be like, yeah, but that was a good season.
And the thing is that the thing that I don't believe when it comes to people saying that there was some kind of disagreement in the locker room with how he handles certain situations. I gotta disagree, bro. Like, there's a lot of guys on that team that came out and actually took accountability for how they played. They thought they could have did more. Like, so when I hear all this nonsense in the media, I just find it to be bullshit, bro. Cause you see JB's answer, like he's like, come on, man. You see Josh Hart go out there and say, yo, I feel fucked up. I should have did more. Same thing with Mitch. Like, I don't see no pointing fingers. I see guys sharing pictures of each other. Like, guys that are beefing ain't gonna be doing shit like that.
So
You
So
I
I
don't.
don't think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how true this is. Again, I'm this is all rumor and speculation. You know what I mean?
right?
But I heard You know what I mean? That during the playoffs, there were like 4 player only meetings throughout the playoffs.
That's where I was going.
That's not good.
That's exactly where I was going.
That's not good. You feel me? I know JB publicly going back Tibbs. That's his guy. He's known him all his life. You know what I mean? So I know he's going to do that. Josh too, because Tibbs gave him the biggest opportunity that anybody's ever gave him in his career. But it's about the people also who you don't hear from. It's about the people that's not in the media talking and giving kudos. Uh, 4 player only meetings and 1 playoff run, it's alarming. Usually you have 1. 2, if you make it all the way to the finals sometime and shit is going crazy in the finals, right? But 4, that's a large number. Again, I don't know how true that is. But I can also see some people not being a fan of how things was happening. You know what I mean? I can see it. I'm not saying again, I don't know what's true and what's false, but I'm saying if that is true, I can see how some people are just like not a fan of how certain things was going. Cause again, we go back to Macau talking about how, we got guys on the bench that could hoop. Again, that wasn't about being tired. It was about like, yo, like him sticking up for his brothers and people that's probably on the bench, like, yo, I can help y'all. Like I'm okay at basketball, dog. Like I can bring something to the table, but I'm not getting the minutes to show it. Like we waited too long to bring Landry Shamet back into the fold of things. You feel me? Uh DeLon Wright should have got some PT. He's a fucking dog. He's a
He should have
dog.
never gotten no minutes after JB came back. He should have
This
been
is
in
a
the
fact.
rotation.
This is a fact. I agree with that. But like I don't think we ever going to really know until one of these players come out and say this is what happened. But if that is true, that it was full player meetings during the playoffs, that was damning within itself. Then
Yeah.
you got the rumors regarding the exit interviews. Nothing specific about what was said in the exit interviews, but a lot of people are speculating the exit interviews is what got Coach Tommy T clipped. I just think, at all in all, they was gonna clip Coach Tommy T before the season was over. Like they knew they was gonna clip him before the season was over because 3 days. What was it? Four. How many days has it been since we got eliminated? Like 4 days,
Probably.
Maybe
5 days.
less than a week.
Yeah, and he's clipped already. And that just tell me that this probably was already brewing. Uh, yeah, you know what I mean. So with that being said, right, what is the short list in you guys' opinion for the next head coach of the New York Knicks?
Well, I mean, there's only 2 guys that I wouldn't mind seeing as a head coach of the New York Knicks. One of them, obviously, Johnny Bryant, who I think, former Knicks assistant coach, been under Utah, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken, with who's under Jerry Sloan, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
Coach Tommy T, and then now under Kenny
Atkinson.
Atkinson, who I thought did an amazing job last year in Cleveland. So he's somebody that I always said when we spoke about this prior,
Last
that
season.
if Tibbs was to ever be let go, he would be one of the guys that I would like to look into as being his successor. If not Sam Cassell's um been around too. Um Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia. Um so, I don't see why not look that route. we all, a lot of people keep saying Mark Jackson, but I feel like Mark Jackson, don't get me wrong, like I think it would be nice to have him coach the Knicks. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying I wouldn't be I'd be fucking ecstatic, because Mark Jackson did do a hell of a job in Golden State. If it wasn't for his him being direct, because
Yeah.
I think him being direct is what got him in trouble. But if people were to let things go, I think he would have a job by now. But some people just hold grudges, and I think that's what's holding Mark Jackson back. But you know, um, other than that, I'm not really. I don't want the guy that was fired from Denver, Mike Malone.
Malone.
Nah, yeah, from what I understand, he's like a 2.0 Tibbs,
Yeah.
and the fans are just gonna be going crazy all over again if guys don't get minutes. And then you got the guy from I forgot his name, the guy that got fired from Memphis, who was a pretty decent coach. But
Yeah, I
other
know you
than
got
that,
his name. What the fuck was his name? Shit.
yeah, I forgot his name, but he was a decent head coach, but I don't know. So, but yeah, man, like I would like either Johnny Bryant or Sam Cassell. The
Taylor
guys
Jenkins.
who
Taylor
Taylor Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Taylor Jenkins, right? I don't know where
Thanks,
the
LV
email.
Live. Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks,
I put that
LV.
shit right at the
That's
same
my
time.
guy, LV Live. Um, and I think I don't know where the Ime Udoka stuff came out of. I don't see Houston, parting ways with him or even giving anybody permission to interview him. I think that's a dub. So I don't know where that came from. I was really confused about him, and even confused about Jason Kidd, because I ain't hear nothing about Jason Kidd wanting to leave Dallas or him being fired. So I don't know where those two guys came from, but I know the guy Jordan Ott already been hired in Phoenix. So Johnny Bryan and Sam Cassell are my two guys that I would like to see get an opportunity.
Yeah, sis.
I don't really. I mean, I was all for Johnny Bryant last season, and I kind of stick to that. I will say this: I'm not going to say names. I'm going to say characteristics that we need in a coach. We need a coach that can, one, is player friendly, right? Like he has to understand the team that we have. He has to be respected by the guys that we have. We need a coach that is capable of coaching a ball dominant point guard. We need a coach that also can coach a scoring big man. And we need a coach that has a good balance between offense and defense. Um, and I go with Johnny Bryant because I think he was groomed well. I think in us seeing him on our bench firsthand, we saw his interactions with players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he also played a big part of the super success that Cleveland had last season in the
Mm-hmm.
regular season. Um, it's kind of scary when you think about it because with him and even Sam Cassell, we don't know what they would produce as a head coach, right? Like we can only see and assume things that we see from them as assistant coaches. So it's the unknown of, what they can or can't do as a head coach. Um, that's what kills me, the unknown. It just my nerves.
And and
Um,
and and one thing, like, people forget how he handled Julius Randle when he
that
was, losing his mind over there. Just how he could, because we all knew Julius Randle was going through some shit here in New York City, and he was able to turn him around in ways that we don't know, but he helped him out a lot. So that
Facts.
says a lot about him. Appreciate you, Live. Appreciate you, bro.
But yeah, I think those are important, and I think, to be honest, the Knicks need to make a decision quickly. I think it's imperative to make a decision quickly because you don't want to waste half a summer with the guys not knowing what it's going to look like going forward, and then we're starting fresh, come training camp. There needs to be, I mean, we've seen videos. Our guys are in the gym already. Like, there needs to be some type of foundation there for them to grow this summer. Um, I'm not saying rush it. I'm just saying y'all need to be interviewing dudes tomorrow and like talking as an organization on the next steps. Because you don't want this to linger throughout the summer. Um, but yeah, I think whomever we choose, that has to be the guy. Like, he has to be the one. This isn't okay, we're gonna try this. It needs to be, no, definitively, this is our go-to that's gonna take us over the mountain.
How I feel is that let's start with what's imaginary, right? Not real. Uh, Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd, Ime Udoka. That's imaginary. Yeah, I mean that's
I've even seen the Heat coach.
a Spoelstra. You can add him in there too. I saw
Right.
that too. Uh, that's imaginary. That's not based
Yo,
in anything realistic, right? So
I could not
yeah,
believe that
Kev,
one.
I'm about to go down
The Eric Spoelstra one. I'm like, yo, they just signed him to like a 7-year deal. What's
and
going on here?
he's not leaving Miami to come to the Knicks.
No.
No, no.
That is Pat Riley's son.
I
You
was about
feel
to
me?
say, I
Like
think
Right,
he truly
right,
hates us.
yeah. So
right.
again, that's imaginary. Ime, Jason Kidd, Mark Jackson, Spoelstra. Mark Jackson because he's blackballed from the NBA. And I mean, Ime Udoka and Jason Kidd, you have two coaches that were successful last year. Yeah, I mean, Ime on a very young team. Yeah, I mean, coaching a very young team to the position they got them, and Jason Kidd with a battered team that went through a major change midway through the season. Yeah, I mean, like they're not letting those two guys go for sure. Yeah, I mean, Eric Spoelstra, I just said it. Yeah, I mean, he's not if he's leaving the Heat, which I don't think. I think he's probably going to be grooming to take Pat Riley's job. Yeah, I mean, like he's going to take Pat Riley's job one day. So he's not definitely leaving Miami, and especially for the Knicks, right? Solid choices, but I don't think they're the one. Sam Cassell, like excuse me, Kev was saying, he's been the assistant coach for many years now. He's been around for a while. Uh, the name ring bells. You feel me? Players like if you're a hooper, you know who Sam Cassell is. Like,
It's
uh,
so crazy because Chris Childs had posted something about the firing of Tibbs, and I asked him. I said,
I
"Who do
see
you
it.
think? Who do you think will be a good fit?" And he said, "Sam, I am."
Yeah. Again, that's a solid. I just don't think it's very realistic that he'll be the next head coach of the Knicks. Because mainly because we're in a space where now we're in win now mode. You know what I mean? So firing Tibbs officially put us in win right now mode.
Mhm.
And that's something I wasn't willing to concede coming into the season. That we was in win now mode. But now firing Tibbs definitely put us in win now mode. And I don't know if Sam Cassell is a guy for that. You know what I mean? Who else we name?
Johnny Bryant.
Well, no, I'm talking about like outside of Johnny Bryant.
Oh,
Uh,
Mike Malone.
Mike Malone is. I feel like Now we're moving into realistic options when we talk about Mike Malone, right? Uh, I'm not a fan of it. I don't want Mike Malone on this team. His players didn't like him in Denver. That's the reason he got fired. It's not because the team was particularly bad. They were still going to make the playoffs.
And he didn't have a good relationship with the front office, I heard.
Yeah.
And if your best player in Joker doesn't like you, that says a
Yeah.
lot, bro.
It's,
Even
it's,
even though y'all want to chip, even though y'all want to chip
it's,
together.
it's pretty much what I was saying when I said the players hated him. It wasn't just Joker. It was a few players in the locker room that didn't like him. Uh, and it was somebody else besides Johnny Bryan. I can't remember. But
I mean, there was a bunch of names thrown out. Dan Hurley.
Jay Wright. Jay Wright
Jay Wright.
is a realistic option.
And the guy that got fired from Phoenix, Budenhauser or whatever his name is.
Budenholzer. I'll put Budenholzer in the not realistic. No, I mean solid choices category. You know what I mean? Like I put Budenholzer in the solid choices category. Obviously a champion. But outside of that, like I just felt like when he got his championship, it was a decent run. I don't remember him like his coaching savvy, like overwhelming people. It was just Giannis being Giannis, Drew Holiday assisting Giannis being Giannis, and them just having a really well built team. Like that team was really well built. But I don't know. I'm not all the way sold on Budenholzer.
Me neither.
So that's why I put him in like solid. Like he's a solid choice, but I don't believe he's the guy that's gonna get us there. Now we're going into like the more realistic, you know what I mean? Malone is definitely a realistic choice because he does have some Tibbs ways, but he's not as stubborn. You know what I mean? He's not as stubborn as Tibbs. You feel me? Like, yes, he is veteran heavy, but not starter heavy, if that makes sense, right? If you give him a team full of veterans, he's going to play the veterans. He's not going to play the young guys as much. But if you got some veterans coming off the bench, they're going to get PT. What I mean by that, like the DeLon Wrights, the Landry Shamits, like those guys is going to get some PT. They're going to get run. And then you got Johnny Bryant, which I think is my first. Jay Wright, my fault. I skipped over Jay Wright before I got to Johnny Bryant. Jay Wright is a realistic choice. Villanova connection. He's been a top college coach for as long as I can remember. And he's respected, and that's the most part. Like that goes to Mrs. Nick's point. Like everybody in the locker room know who Jay Wright is. You know what I mean? Like when he come in, yes, he was a college coach. But everybody know who he is. He wins national championships. You know what I mean? Like, so everybody know who he is. I think that's a realistic thing. It's something to appease Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. And he knows how to use those three guys together. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a realistic thing. But I think Johnny Bryant, to me, is probably the number one choice. I also feel like this is why the Tibbs firing came so quick.
So fast.
Because Phoenix was interested in Johnny Bryant. You know what I mean? And Phoenix didn't sign their new head coach until after we fired Tibbs, because I guess they knew, like, yeah, we're not about to get Boyd. We're not about to get in a bidding war with New York for Johnny Bryant. Because that's what it would have came down to. And you already know the vibes. Big bank take little bank every time. You know what I mean? That's one thing James Dolan don't do is shy around spending the bread when he has the ability to spend the bread. You feel me? And if Leon Rose said Johnny Bryant is the one to get us to the promised land, Dolan would have broke the bank to get Johnny Bryant here. Look what we did to get Phil Jackson to be the GM, even though that flopped. All the money they threw at that man.
I mean, just think about it. Tibbs is walking away with 30 mil unpaid that he's due. Like,
the chicken.
They don't care.
I never feel sad when a head coach get fired. they about to still cake up. You feel me? But
but with Tibbs it stings a little because of what he was accomplished
I'm
as a
talking
Knick.
about. I don't feel bad for Tibbs. Yeah, I mean, like
financially, his pockets is good.
Oh nah, financially his pockets is straight forever.
As a fan, because like you said, I know what he gave this team, what he did for this team. So that part stings. But for him personally, he gonna be all right. Nah, but Johnny Bryant to me is the one. He gets tremendous respect not only from, his players, but around the league. Randall wasn't the only one that gave Johnny Bryant high praises when he was here.
Quickly, RJ Barrett.
He was revered by all the players on the roster. Now that we're speaking about Johnny Bryant, I just want to briefly say, like, what if Tibbs was the reason why Johnny Bryant took that job in Cleveland? Because Johnny Bryant was literally the one. He was doing what Rick Brunson was doing. In Tibbs' ear. Yeah, in Tibbs' ear, every game, giving advice. But what if he felt like that advice was being unheard and had to make the move?
I mean, it's quite possible. Because you even seen it in the Pacers series when Rick Brunson was talking to Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
And Tibbs kind of like not heeding to what he was saying. Right. So it's quite possible, although I think a lot of it had to do with Johnny Bryant thought the Knicks were going for Spider, and he stood for a little while longer with the Knicks in hopes that was going to happen, and he wanted to coach his boy. True. But I can see where Tibbs wouldn't have been listening. I think, they say you can't teach your old dog new tricks, and it's true in some situations. And just seeing his interaction with Rick this season, I can believe that.
Yeah. I want Johnny.
We gotta know what kind of assistant coach Rick is, though. Like, is he?
Well, he took Johnny Bryant's title, so.
Yeah.
Oh, since we talking about what kind of head assistant coach Rick Brunson is, this is a twofold thing I want to address. One, let's address the rumor and kind of tie that into what kind of assistant coach Rick Brunson is. There's a rumor that's saying that players, NBA Central posted it. They didn't give
Hoop Tight posted it.
Huh?
Hoop Tight posted it.
Yeah, and NBA Central too.
Yeah, they reposted it.
Oh, okay. Who's Hype? All right. Who's Hype posted it, and it was pretty much saying that there's players on the team that was upset with how much input that Rick Brunson had, and they didn't like it. They was upset with that, but he's the head assistant coach, you dummies. That's what the head assistant coach does. They have the biggest input outside of the coach on the coaching staff. I think, I still think that's stupid. I think a lot of the few of the core players on the team grew up with Rick Brunson. They know him personally.
Right.
And you see the interactions with Rick Brunson and the players when they coming off the court and they doing good. It don't look like players who are upset with that man.
Right.
He's the first person they run to when they do something good.
That's the thing. Like, that's why
he gives me more like the protective dad vibe. Because the minute somebody coming for any one of the guys on our bench, he like, Oh nah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I disagree with these rumors, a lot of these rumors, because you can see that it was a tight knit group in that locker room. There was no beefing. Everybody held each other accountable. I just don't believe all that other
Yeah,
nonsense. I really don't.
yeah, I don't believe it at
I
all.
don't.
And I don't think he shows favoritism to Jalen.
I
I
don't
think
either.
he's more critical on Jalen than he is on
Right.
everybody.
Like, every time you see Jalen Brunson complaining, what he do? Go over there, yo, shut the
Like,
fuck
shut
up and
up,
play
right?
basketball, nigga. Shut
Yeah,
the fuck
for
up.
sure. For
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like, and he be the first one to go up to anybody, not just Jalen Brunson, anybody. He even went at Dante when Dante was barking at, yo, don't do that.
Yep.
Don't do that. We're stopping shit short. Like, that's why I don't believe the nonsense, bro. I
Yeah.
just don't, bro.
I
So
think the
again,
media and even like other
The
creators,
fans, even
yeah, even other
fans.
creators and fans, like are trying to turn the team against each other. Like,
Right,
what are we doing? Like, we just
right.
came off the best season we've had in half a century, a
Thank
quarter of
you.
a century,
Thank you.
and you want to dismantle this at its
Like,
core. Like, it's crazy.
yo, Anna, like this what I'm saying, right? And I know I said it again. I said it already, but I want to say it again. These guys
let's
was
get it
all sharing pictures of each other. People that are beefing, we not doing that.
Facts.
There's no OG sharing pictures with Cat, with Josh, then Josh sharing OG, yo, like, yo, bro, there's
No,
all that other stuff.
I don't think the team is beefing. But I will say
No,
this, going back to what we were talking about earlier, because T-Time took what I was gonna say about
Okay.
like the players not being happy with Tibbs. And I didn't believe it, but I will say this. I found it very weird. No, I found it very interesting that the only player, and a lot of our guys are big on social media.
Mm-hmm.
The only player that said thanks to Tibbs was Josh.
yeah,
That says a lot.
Yeah.
man.
So I also do feel, right? I think it's a twofold thing
Here
with
we go.
JB, right? I do think JB loves and appreciates Tibbs, right? So when they asked him the questions that they asked him the last game, he's like, "What do
Go
you?"
get it.
Of course, I'm going to support Tibbs,
That's
right?
for go get it. Go get it. All right, go get it. That's for you. Go get it. Okay.
So I do think JB loves and support Tibbs, and in the public, he said the right things. That's my coach. I'm a ride with him, and I believe to some extent he does. Uh, but this is what I said about the. This is what I said about the 4 players only meetings. You feel me? Like,
We don't know what they say behind closed doors.
and then you got to listen to somebody who's
Excuse
played
me.
for him, like Jeff T. I think that was a really good insight into the coaching philosophy of Tibbs. Tibbs don't call no plays. That's evident.
I laughed when I seen that.
He said, "Yo, Tibbs don't call." He said,
He
"One."
said
He
Tibbs
said,
is
"Tibbs."
just there like, what the fuck? Fuck.
Yo, but I bet you any money that anybody on our team would say otherwise.
No, no, I'm. This is why I disagree with that, because Jeff T played for him. You know what I mean?
Um,
Uh, and
that was in what, when Minnesota, right?
yeah, and
Okay.
then you know Jeff Teague also started off. He said he's the favorite coach he's ever played for. That's how he started it.
Yeah, he
So you
did.
know this ain't no shade. He's like, yo, Tibbs is my favorite coach I've ever played for. But he said, yo, Tibbs don't call no plays.
And
He
when you think about it, think back to like when they be like in the huddle and you don't never see him really He's more trying to motivate them. Like, come on, guys, we got this. You know, he's trying to motivate them. He's not X&O'ing.
So like in the huddles, what he usually do, he's like pointing out defensive assignments. Like what he sees, he's drawing on a dry erase board. Like, oh, when they doing this, we should be doing this. You feel me? Like it ain't like he's over there drawing up like, yo, cut to the basket this time. He's drawing up defensive shit. But again, I think players do love Tibbs. But at the same time, in them exit interviews, if they ask him like, "Do you feel like you could win a championship with him as the coach?" I think they was keeping it a buck. Like, nah, you gotta if you're not calling play. This is in hindsight, right? Looking back into that game 2, where JB just came up the court with 14 seconds left and just shot,
it up.
and I'm like, how you not call a timeout and run and draw up a play? It's because that's not what he does. He runs sets. There's a difference between calling plays and running sets, right? You pretty much tell everybody where they want to be. A set is telling everybody where they need to be positioned on the floor. So if Tibbs thinking like, all right, I want to go super ISO heavy with Jalen Brunson, I'm just making up shit right now. I'm gonna run the 6-7 snake set, right? So now he might have somebody in the strong side corner and everybody else on the weak side of the court, right? And then JB operates out of there. Or he might be like, oh, I want to run the 1-1-5 hurricane set. And like one of the plays that we did in the playoffs that helped us win a game where he had everybody on the strong side and one player on the weak side. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he does. You know what I mean? I think, me personally, we need a coach that does run plays. Because how many times we see teams get an easy bucket off a set run play out of timeouts or just in the flow of the game. You see the coach, I want to run this play right now. I see how they defend it. Quick 2 points or a quick 3-pointer. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what Tibbs does. And that's not a knock on Tibbs. Love Tibbs. Appreciate him for what he brought to the squad. You know what I mean? Appreciate him for that. But definitely got to find a way to move forward. There was something else I wanted to say. I forgot. Oh, because we approaching the hour, now that we covered go get it. You gotta find something else, my boy. Now that we covered the Tibbs thing, my question to the panel on the way out is, do you think there are more moves outside of the head coaching change that will be made?
Major moves?
Yeah, regarding the roster and shit like that.
Oh, Knickerbocker just pulled up.
Man, you pull up when I'm trying to leave. What's good, Brody? Well, before you start talking, I guess we could make it official now, right?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you breaking up. You're breaking up.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like it was underwater and breaking up at the same time. That shit was wild. You sound like you in the city of Atlantis. Yeah. I guess we gotta wait now. I got about that.
But I will say this, because there was something that kind of eased my mind yesterday whenever, all this was going on. And so someone brought up the fact that the 2003 Pistons kind of did the same exact thing, right? Yep. When they fired Rick Carlisle after successful seasons.
And then hired Larry Brown.
Right. And then they won the championship. Not saying it's going to be that easy, but someone that was in their front office at the time was
World Wide Web.
WWW. Right.
Right.
So to me, he had to see something that told him we're not gonna make it with Tibbs at the top. You know what I mean? Like it's just a good character reading that he can read that, and as a fan, it's kind of like soothing a little bit to know that okay, he knows what to look for, and maybe he just didn't see that.
Yeah. Yo, and I don't know if y'all remember. But there was a few years ago, him and World Wide West were bumping heads with each other. What's going on? The Bleed Blue show was goody. They was bumping heads. I thought at that time when him and World Wide West was bumping heads, I thought he was gonna get fired then. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Well, I mean, they said like
there was some type of riff.
They said Dolan gave Leon Rose the go ahead to let him go a few times.
Yeah, right.
And Leon Rose is the one that didn't do it. So again, it's like they saw something where they're like, nah, we need to part ways before it's our ass with him.
Yeah. What's up, Knickerbocker?
Knickerbocker? I know we just talked about it on Spaces.
Yeah, we did.
Wait, before Knickerbocker do his thing, I want to make it official. You know what I mean? Let's make it official. We get no. That's my fault. Great news. You know what I mean? Great news. You know what I mean? He's no longer a friend of the show. My guy Knickerbocker is officially a member of the Knicks and Ish panel. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Geyser. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We appreciate you. You know what I mean? For yeah, we appreciate you for even wanting to join the squad. You know what I mean?
The word.
It's a beautiful thing.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. When he came up to me, when he messaged and said that, I was kind of excited. I said, "Oh shit, this is this is great news. This is great news."
I think that had to be the easiest vote ever.
Yo, you know what? I like to thank each and every one of you. I like to thank UT Time, Kev, Anna. She's been my sister for quite some time now. We've known each other over a decade. And of course, Fraz, wherever you are, thank you so much for the blessing and for welcoming me, with open arms. I'm glad to be part of the Knicks and Ish crew, on a full-time basis. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing my craziness, and I'm going to keep on, doing what I can to, to get that Knickerbocker energy, because it's all about love. It's all about this community and what these fans represent. I mean, we've been representing this organization for all our lives. For most of us, for me, it's 35, 40 years. And, to do documentaries and do podcasts and things like that, you want to be down, with people that, number one, you can relate with, and obviously who's going to give you that right energy. Who's going to give you that, that truthful knowledge that it's not going to just be one of those spaces where they're going to trash people or change narratives or move the goalpost or come up with bullshit rumors. No, this is where you want to be, because we talk that Knicks and Ish. It's not about that other bit. It's more Knicks and Ish.
For sure. Yeah, I mean,
it was super easy to me. Like when Kev said it, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. Like, duh.
When I asked him, I was like, yo, I don't think they're gonna say yes, because because they got a tight knit group. And then he messaged me that nice. I'm like,
so by the time I saw the message, I think I was at work that day doing the double as per usual. By the time I saw the message, everybody already said yeah, like adamant, like it was adamant yes. Everybody, yeah, most definitely. I was like,
Thank
I
you
didn't
so
say
very
much. I
much.
said, yeah, I'm with it. I mean, like, I didn't have to say.
Oh, that's what he meant, Kev. Because you said I'm fit. So I messaged Kev on the back and I said, what does that mean? Kev said. Kev said, I guess that's new lingo for he's in.
I've been saying I'm fit for years. Like that's I've been using that term for years. Yeah, I'm fit. I'm fit for it. You know what I mean? It suits me well. You know what I mean? Like all that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the term. That's all I put in the group chat. Like after everybody said what they said, I said, yeah, I don't gotta say much. I'm fit. Like yeah, let's make it happen. And now here we are.
Here we are.
So boom. You know, we all gave our spill, so we gonna get you caught on up. You know what I mean? What is your feel on what is your reaction? Not your feel. What is your reaction to the firing of Coach Tommy T?
Well, it was actually Anna who told me. She
told all of us.
She told all of us. Word.
And I was like on my phone. I'm like, hold on, I'm not reading that shit right.
I think his response was, that's bullshit.
That way, and then I was like, I was gonna throw my phone. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you, mommy. The first thing I tested back there was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, I just gave Tibbs his flowers on the spaces to close that out, and I'm gonna re-echo some of those sentiments. The reality is that you cannot look at this situation and say that Tom Thibodeau did not do his job. He did. He did a superb job. He did what some people actually consider to be the impossible. He turned a laughingstock franchise after 2 17-win seasons with no roster management, no direction, no identity, and had them 2 wins from the NBA Finals this season. That kind of thing doesn't go unnoticed, and you cannot not appreciate that kind of effort, that kind of love, that kind of devotion, that kind of dedication. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. Did we criticize him for some things? Absolutely. There was I can pretty much pinpoint on this YouTube channel each and every one of you when you guys have all said something bad about Tom Thibodeau and be like, what is this dude doing? But at the same time, we respected him. We appreciated him. We loved him. We're sad to see him go. But given the response that the press release did say, and of course, now with more news circulating as to why this move had to be made, I'm a little bit more at ease. That doesn't mean that I have a preference on who I want the next coach to be, because I actually don't have an idea who I want the next coach.
That was going to be the next question. So
I have no idea who I want to be the next coach. Because to be honest with you, whoever the next coach is, they have enormous shoes to fill. You're going to have to do what Tom Thibodeau did and do it better. That means if we're less than 50 wins next season, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't make it out of the first, second, and now if we don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, something's wrong.
Past it at this point.
If you don't beat the Pacers, beat the Celtics, beat the Cavs, and at least have some kind of a showing against the Nuggets, the Thunder, and any other super team in the West, something is wrong. And I don't want to hear that, well, it's only year one. Well, guess what? This was year one. Fraz has said this time and time again on this very platform. This is year one of this team as it's currently constructed under this coach.
Fact.
And they pulled the plug. Not saying that it's 100% unjustified. Obviously, there is some justification as to doing this. But to say that Tom Thibodeau did not earn at least one more year, then you don't fucking know basketball. I'm going to say it flat out to your face.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the same sentiment that pretty much everybody else on the panel gave. That we felt that he deserved at least one more year.
Facts.
But yeah, it was weird. It's weird. It's weird, dog. Like,
It was.
but we definitely have to find somebody else though. And to your sentiment about they have to make the finals.
Yeah. That's what I was when we were talking about like the next coaches, I was gonna ask y'all, like, do you put a first time coach in that position? Like, you gotta get us to the finals, because if you don't,
Yeah, we got
you
more
was a
from
failure.
Dirk, mister.
I mean, listen, go. I think we did not with the Knicks.
What happened? I missed the question.
Didn't we already try the first year head coach idea with Derek Fisher? Given
Yeah, the Derek Fisher, the Jeff
Fisher,
Hornacek,
for sure. Fisdale was a assistant coach.
David Fisdale, right?
Yeah, he was an assistant coach before he came to the Knicks.
Right.
Herb Williams, Kurt
Rambis
for sure. And that all those things fell miserably.
Yeah.
But not
right.
But here's the difference between Oldham and Johnny Bryant.
We also had a. I'm sorry, T. I'm sorry, T.
Yeah,
we also had a first. We also had a first year, president of, and that failed miserably.
Hold
on. Master.
We can go back even further. We can even go back further. Isaiah Thomas was a first time coach.
Right.
No. He coached Indiana, and then he was the president of Toronto before he came to us.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember him coaching Indiana.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
remember him being the president of Toronto. I didn't remember him coaching Indiana.
No, he did. That's right. Yeah, he did. And then after that, Larry Bird took over, right?
Indiana.
Was it Larry
I don't know
Bird?
if it was Larry or it was after Larry.
I can't remember.
I don't remember how that went.
Well, yeah. Nonetheless, what Johnny Bryant has over all those guys is the fact that Johnny Bryant was an assistant coach for many years. He learned under some of the best coaches in the NBA in his time. Say what you want about Coach Tommy, two-time Coach of the Year. What he did to transform this organization, you have to be a fool not to pick up some knowledge from that man. And then you go to Kenny Atkinson, who's somebody that I'm on record on his very channel when he was looking for a head coach, that Kenny Atkinson was on the top of my list of head coaches that I wanted for the Knicks, right? Then Johnny
Bryant, he was an assistant of the Knicks.
He was.
And Johnny Bryant get to learn underneath him. Yeah, I mean, if there's any first time head coach, I think that
Darren Salute
was good. If there's any first time head coach that's available right now that I think that probably would be able to get us there, it's Johnny Bryant. I mean, the people that he's been able to study under in his tenure. No knock to Sam Cassell, but what worries me about like ex NBA players, they have it in their mind like, yo, I played like this, or if I have a guard, I want the guard to play like this because this was how I was successful. Unless your name is Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, I think, is a phenomenal head coach. Yeah, I mean, the things I saw him do early in his career, coach a career with the Brooklyn Nets, and they was trash. You know what I mean? And the things that I see that he made happen with injured
Milwaukee
Dallas Mavericks team and Milwaukee, yeah, with young Giannis for sure. And now in Dallas with a battered team, he's a phenomenal coach. But other than that, Sam Cassell coming in first-time head coach with a player like Jalen Brunson at the one, I don't know. You feel me? I don't know because I don't know how long he could keep his emotions from how he used to play and the kind of player he was. Steve Cassell was a more defensive minded player. He could get a bucket, but he was more defensive minded player. And you got a guard that don't play no defense. I almost say he don't play no defense. I'll take that back.
Undersized defensive guard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Guys,
but
my question to you is, and I brought this up in Spaces a little while ago. I know this is kind of, it may not fit at all, but why wouldn't we at least consider Patrick Ewing?
No.
I know, but just at least consider him.
I'm gonna tell you why.
At least consider, not. You don't have to give him the job, but at least give the guy an interview.
I'm gonna tell you why. The knock on Patrick Ewing has always been his ability to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, we in a different era. We're not in the era where the coach could just talk to people wild crazy. Yeah, you fucking trash. And everybody like, yeah, coach, because the coach is the most important person on the team. We in a player empowerment era. Patrick started talking. You saw the video of the kid shooting the fade with her around fadeaway. He's like, yo, you practice that shot? You practice that shot? He's like, yeah, I ain't never see you practice that shot. Don't shoot that shit no more. like, yeah, it was in college, but still, like I don't know if that.
I remember that. I remember that.
And
I seen that video.
I think
it honestly got a transfer to the NBA. My fault, and
yeah, no, and I think we shouldn't get someone that is emotionally attached to the organization. Like Pat is emotionally attached because when you're emotionally attached, you make decisions that you may not have made if you weren't.
You're not making a logical.
Wouldn't that also apply to Johnny Bryant, considering he was an associate head coach for 4 years for us?
Yeah, but it's a difference in
a
coach.
He didn't
like being the face of the franchise for so long.
True.
He didn't play.
Right.
So to me, that's
imagine.
And I think we don't have a big man that plays like Pat for us to kind of like.
Yeah, imagine. I think Pat, if he's smart over the summer, he's calling big homie and learning some post shit. But that's neither here nor there.
All big guys.
Imagine you
been waiting 6 years for fucking Mitch to learn at least a hook shot or something.
Hold on. Imagine you're Patrick Ewing. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals. Safe instance the finals.
You having flashbacks to that shit.
You want to make irrational decisions because you like, oh, this is what happened to us here, and
against this team,
and this is what we didn't do. You know what I mean? This is what we didn't do, but so we should just automatically do that here. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that might traumatize a person, and I always thought it weird that Pat didn't never get like no real, like he got the one in Charlotte, but outside of that, Pat didn't get no real head coach opportunities outside of that. And I think that's for a reason. You know what I mean? I think that's for a reason. If teams and players are raving about a coach that, oh, this is a great coach, he's a great coach, he's going to get more opportunities than just the opportunity that he had in Charlotte. The team was garbage. But he ain't developed nobody. It was no promise that was happening after he was coaching. And I don't mean no disrespect to Pat because he's Pat. Yeah, I mean, like, he's Pat, but at the same time, keeping it real, all these years, nobody else gave him a job. And it's not like the same situation with Mark Jackson. Yeah, I mean, like.
And I think it took the Knicks so long to even connect him back to the organization. It's like, bro, be happy where you at.
And I think that's mostly because he was just trying to get his coach on. You know what I mean? Like, it's not because, like, we didn't want him a part of the organization. He was just getting his coach on. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
For so many years, and then he was an assistant at Houston, Orlando, Charlotte.
Everyone went to coach the Hoyas, right?
Yeah.
And they had a nice little run. They wasn't great, but they did all right. They were bad a few years, but they did it right some years. You know what I mean?
My man Steve says that we need to when we're going to develop Mitch offensively and get him at least 70% at the line. I'm pretty sure we're going to. He's working on them right now because I think he tweeted about something that a little while
ago. He was in the gym today shooting free throws. He said he made 30 out of
50. 30 out of 50.
He said,
I said now I said now he gotta work on 40 out of 50.
Right.
Look, what he need to do is put some damn arch on that shit. Put some arch on that shit. That's it.
I think it's hard for big men to shoot free throws with an arch, though.
I think so too, but at the same time,
I don't know. I'm not that tall.
If you don't want to do
Patrick
that,
didn't have that problem. Patrick didn't have that problem.
Yeah, but Patrick also shot. He could shoot.
Yeah.
And if you
can't shoot,
exactly.
Use the backboard.
I made 30 out of 40 before.
Yeah, I believe it, JJ. But if you don't want to put an arch, use the backboard. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal. However, there is precedent. A Knicks head coach complained about using the backboard. Back in '95, Don Nelson complained that Charlie Ward was banking free throws, and like the next year, Charlie was like an 83% free throw shooter, never using the backboard again. He barely touched the rim, let alone the backboard. But
maybe we need to start Mitch off with that. How about that?
There you go.
You know what I mean? But something got to give. Again, where we was at? We was at before we was about to get out of here. Oh, now back to the same question. I don't know who already answered. Can't remember. But after the firing of Coach Tommy T, do you guys see any other roster changes happening after this? Knickerbocker shake his head. Let's go to Knickerbocker first because
considering that the firing of Tom Thibodeau was because of the players making mention of that, and there's been a long-standing reputation of Tom Thibodeau-led teams from other players outside of the Knicks, to surround the league. I think that this is also another move to try to lure one of those superstars. I'm not going to mention their names. We already know what they are.
You should.
But they're probably keeping that in mind when they choose the next head coach. Whoever they choose, it's with that in mind. So if it's after going after Giannis, Durant, or anybody, run it back with campaign if possible. JJ, I agree with you. I want them to run it back, but I also wanted to run it back with Tommy T, and yet here we are.
Hold on. I got that out. Shout out to my guy JJ on the super chat for sure. You know what I mean? Shout out to the guy on the super chat for sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead. My fault, Knickerbocker. Finish your statement.
I honestly feel that whoever the next head coach, it's going to be with another player in mind. Obviously, Brunson will have some say. I'm pretty sure that Cat will also have some kind of a say, and some of the other players might have. They'll be having some kind of say in who they go with. But I think that there is going to be at least another move to be made, and my biggest fear as a Knicks fan is that it's going to be just as big, if not bigger.
So,
you just made my blood pressure go up.
Yeah, took your statement.
No, he really did, because I want to say no, big moves. I thought that. And let me go back to JJ. JJ, I want to run it back without campaign.
Right.
And I like
campaign.
Right.
I like campaign.
Right.
He's sold in the playoffs.
I like that he's a nuisance. However, as a veteran, you need to know your role, and you need to know Don't fucking be chucking up shots for no damn reason when we don't even have a rebounder under that rim. And that ticked me off about him, and for that reason, I'm good on him. Is he a pain in the ass? I liked him in Philly. I was happy when we signed him. But as a veteran and as, a vet that, we still have young guys on the team are looking up to, you can't make decisions like that on the court. Especially when you ain't make a damn shot since I don't know what game in the damn playoffs.
Game
in Detroit.
From the Detroit series, maybe?
Right. Like, so since then you just been chucking. Like, I'm good on that shit. But I want to say I hope no major moves happen, because while you were saying JB will have some say and Cat will have some say, to me, the only major move that can happen is moving one of those two or in our bench.
That
scares me. That scares me. Having a Melo 2.0 trade gives me fucking PTSD.
No. Listen.
So I say the only moves we need to make is some bench. Bring in some good role players, some bench players. I have some guys in mind. If y'all want me to throw out names, if not, I won't throw out names.
Nah, I mean, if you will, you know what I mean? Like, it's your world.
There's some good free agents that I think are good bench players or good role players. Keon Ellis. I think he's a good defensive guard that can help our bench and even kind of shield our starters if he gets to burn with them. John Collins, he could give you offense. He plays defense. He's also a motor. I think he'll be a good fit. Those are two.
Coming off the bench, too.
Coming off the bench. Let him run it with Deuce. I think it'll be a good fit.
You don't think that we need a little bit more?
Caris LeVert.
There you go.
Caris LeVert.
Caris LeVert is too injured for my taste.
He is a little bit.
Yeah, but he's a good bench player.
But I think if we get solid.
I'm not arguing that part. I'm just saying
solid ass role players, we are good as is with our core.
Right.
So when we talking about
you don't know who is, go get it.
I heard my guy Knickerbocker say Giannis' name. It's going to destroy the team.
That's going to be a cap for Giannis. Get out of here. Swap.
Yeah, that's going to destroy the team. Me
Go
personally,
to Brooklyn, Giannis. Go to Brooklyn.
Please. So we can beat you over there too. So we can beat you over there too for sure. I want like Mrs. Nick said, my fault, Kev. I just realized I cut you off. My bad.
No, you good.
I want to solidify the bench. I want the starting five to stay the same. I want the starting five to stay the same, but with Mitch in the starting five, obviously. Mitch starting, Josh coming off the bench. I want us to get a certified bucket getter coming off the bench. You know what I mean? Like somebody that we can surround by 3 or 4 defensive guys and be like, yeah, when the bench come in, we're giving him the rock and we dare you to try to stop him. You know what I mean? And we locking up everything on the other end. Fuck what you talking about. You ain't scoring on the other end. But we got our guy that's going to give us 10 to 15 a night coming off the bench. Keep Deuce, obviously. He's still on the contract. Bring DeLon right back.
Bring Shamit back.
Bring
Shamit, right.
In that case, and you got Josh Hart coming up. In that case, I don't really want to change that if you break it down like that, because
and then you still got remember
Josh
you still got the rookies.
Yeah, I want Tyler to run with those guys to set the table for all those guys. Yeah, I mean, yes, he's not the greatest defender, but everybody else can defend. Deuce could defend. Shamit could defend. Hart could defend.
The only
Precious the free
thing with
agent.
that,
I don't
though,
know.
tea time is the size. Tyler, Deuce, and Josh, and Shamit. Size
I'm
is
not
going to
worried
be an
about Josh
issue.
size. Josh play like he's 6'8". Now you have
But he
an
ain't.
argument, huh?
But he ain't.
But he played like he's 6'8", for sure.
But the
He's
Even
problem,
with
getting
the
but the
stars,
problem is the
he's getting
problem is
he's getting
they
killed in the
start throwing.
switch every time the mismatch.
There you go. See how? There you go. There you
but
go. There you,
not every time with Josh. And you got to think about the people ain't gonna be playing most of the time with the starters. Who
No, it depends on the coach. Whoever the coach is.
it does depend on the coach, but what I'm saying, a large majority, if they probably on the floor with the starters, the bench. I'm talking about the whole entire bench. Like this, because this is what we're talking about right now. The mismatches with the whole time. The whole entire bench. The max they're gonna be on the floor with anybody's complete starting roster, or even with the stars, is probably 2 to 3 minutes at max. The whole entire game. The whole entire game. This is why I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? That part. But I know against everybody else's bench, that shit gonna cook. That shit gonna cook for sure. It's gonna cook for sure. Because the way that Tyler sets people up, they're not gonna be able to keep up with the scoring pace. Tyler he's a point guard. He's like zero sugar Jason Kidd. Zero sugar. Diet still got a little bit sugar in it, right? So I'll say zero sugar. You know what I mean? Diet still got this much sugar. He's he's zero sugar Jason Kidd.
So he's a Splenda Jason Kidd.
For sure, for sure. and when you put him with the likes of Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, who's become a knockdown 3-point shooter, Josh who could get on the break, cut to the basket. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen with Precious because he's a free agent. I hope we play Hug Purdy, alley-oop central. Hug Purdy just need to be a
Especially
better
with
defense.
Tyler.
Hug Purdy got to figure out how to be a better better on-ball defender and a better rebounder. But the fourth spot off the bench is a question mark because Pressure's not gonna be there.
No. And
That's gonna be Josh. What you mean? He a 4?
No, Josh gonna play the 3. He's better at the 3.
I'm just joking.
Oh, I'm about to say
He do be playing a 4 though.
he do. For sure he does. Yeah, for sure Josh does. Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
I will say this. Mark Bryant. He's our assistant coach. You got your hands full because you got a lot of developing our big men this summer, bro.
Oh yeah, I know who you.
You got a lot of developing our big guys.
That's what you for.
That's what we're paying you for.
So boom.
I need to see improvement on all of them.
What I need to see is this. Since Cat stole the move a few times, I need to see him this summer working with him. He stole Pat fadeaway move.
Yep.
I need you to see you in the summer working with Pat, working on your footwork in the post, so we could take advantage of mismatches more often. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see you just charging from the 3-point line every play.
With the dribble up to your shoulder.
Yeah, I want to see you able to catch the ball in the post and use that pause, because it's gonna sound super freaky, and use that beautiful touch he got around the rim.
Pause.
Yeah, I said pause like 8 times, bro.
Yeah, sure. Say it again, because you know the zesty
I'm just
police.
checking with my kids if I used it right, because they just taught me that word recently.
Nah, you used it right, because that was spicy talk. That was for sure spicy talk. Touch around the rim is crazy. But
with Karl Anthony Towns around, everything is a little spicy, zesty, and you know everything.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not even doing that with my boy no more. I'm keeping all that. That boy, that man played with a torn ligaments in his hand all postseason and then complain not once.
I think more than all postseasons he's done all
that's
season.
He broke it like the last 2 or 3
all
weeks of the
season.
season.
And every time everybody
He had a
him
messed up
about
finger
it,
all season.
and every time anybody asks him anything about it, he just said, "It is what it is. Ain't no excuses. If I'm on the court, I gotta produce."
Yeah.
So all that zesty shit, corny. I'm not saying you or anybody on this panel. I'm just stating a blanketed statement. Everybody want to say this man zesty. His shorty better than all this.
Yep.
Better than all this.
So did Ricky Martin's before he came out of the closet. He did have Daisy Fuentes. Just where we're going.
This is true. I think.
Yo, that's
Ricky Martin
crazy.
was
I
more
remember
flamboyant.
that, Av. I remember that. Yo, that's crazy.
I think Ricky Martin was more flamboyant than Cat, though.
Well, we can talk about that offline.
I ain't never seen Cat in those leather pants, though.
There's a whole story behind that one, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yo, Knickerbocker, I ain't never seen what you would call it, Cat in those skin tight leather pants, though. Never seen it.
But Ricky was playing La Vida Loca, so what do you expect him to do, bro?
I'm just saying he was the way he was, and the leather pants told on him.
All right.
I think it's just crazy going back to that, like how, like the personal attacks on him is ridiculous. Like y'all could call him soft and do all that. He could have gave up on us. He was hurt.
Sure.
He could have been like, Jeremy Lin, I ain't at 85%. I ain't playing. But he didn't. Right. So that soft shit is for the birds at this point. But the personal shit, that zesty shit, that gay shit, bro, his girl is better than so many girls. Y'all tripping. Like, y'all doing it at this point just for clicks. Because Jordan Woods is a bad chick.
Fire. But, let the haters hate. But at the end of the day, it's this.
And I will say this. I'm glad he clapped back at Gilbert today.
You should put up that picture, sis. You should put up that picture.
I was about to say, I was just about to say, I'm mad I didn't tell you to save the picture. Because that shit up. That needed to be shown.
And also put up the picture with him standing next to P. Diddy.
For sure.
Why you gotta go there?
Nah, because they violating.
I mean, you trying to you saying that my man Cat looked like a WNBA player, that he's shaped like a bitch. That's what he said.
No, that's his word.
He said that he's shaped like a bitch.
And listen, man. All right. This is what this
Why
is.
You ain't have all that energy towards Kwame Brown when Kwame Brown was gonna wash you up?
Hold on, Kev. You know what time it is. Hold on. If I'm scrolling, you know what time it is. I hope I can hear it this time. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas. It's time for you to get cooked, my boy. Yo, this is the problem I have with that whole podcast. Everybody get work on that podcast today. But the problem I have with this podcast is you got the leader, Gilbert Arenas. He had 2 good seasons of scoring. He had 2 30-point seasons? 2. And then he got injured. And then he got suspended for the gun shit. You was never that guy. You was never no point in the league where you was he all NBA? Can somebody Google that? Can fact check me? I don't think he was never all NBA. I don't think that was ever a thing for you. I think he was an all-star. I don't think he was even ever all NBA, but yet you get on that podcast and talk like you fucking Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tracy McGrady. You talk like you was Vince Carter. You was never none of those guys. You couldn't fill those guys' shoes, but yet you got the nerve to get on Mark Zuckerberg. No. Matter of fact, Bill Gates' internet and Cold Cat say Cat built like a bitch? What are you talking about? Cat has a 10-time more successful career than you ever had. 10 times more successful. I'm not even over exaggerating in that. 10 times more successful. Cat got more All-Star games, more All NBAs. He's been further in the playoffs than you multiple times. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? All you got, you fingernail paint wearing. Listen. You listen. You talking about Cat like he's soft, he this, he that. Bro, you wish you had Cat career. You wish.
You wish he had his girl too.
Facts. He's a freak too, for sure. Gilbert Arenas is a freak. He wish he had Jordan, for sure. I know he goes sometimes to bed at some time of the night like, damn, I can't believe this feminine guy got Jordan Woods. You don't.
Listen. I'ma tell you, go get it. This is the reason why he's looking at men's hips, right there. That's it right there. That's why he looking at men's hips. Okay, that's why he looking at men's hips.
Yo, Gil, you and the rest of your panel, right? The Never Did Nothing group, except for Nick Young, because he's the only one who got the ring off of Steph Curry back. The rest of the Did Nothing crew that's on your panel, you got a fat, light-skinned dude that never played in the NBA, moderating. You got Rashad McCants out there with a fucking crown on and never did nothing. Ain't never did nothing in the NBA, but you got him wearing a crown on your show. Nick Young is a champion, but the only thing that everybody know him for is beefing with D'Angelo Russell for getting snitched on. Not for hoops, nigga. Niggas don't know him for hoops. Niggas know him for being snitched on. He was never that guy. You was never that guy. And then you gonna talk about somebody who got a better career from you.
And he was gonna call the police.
Yeah, okay.
Mommy got
and he was just about to call the police. And he was just about to call the police on Kenyon Martin because Kenyon Martin was gonna wash him up on the show.
Yep.
You heard.
I'm sorry, I probably would too because I'm kind of scared. I'm
Nick
like
Young.
Kenyon Martin looks like he's done some shit.
Kenyon Martin was an enforcer on the net.
Yo, Kenyon Martin was gonna wash him up on the show, bro.
He was an enforcer that little bit of time he was on the Knicks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like niggas know, especially niggas who's in the league, they know who to try, who not to try. They know who about it, they know who not. You know what I mean? And all of them was in the league the same time Kenyon Martin was. You ain't never seen nobody try Kenyon Martin in his whole tenure in the NBA. You never see nobody really try him, bro. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, y'all want to say what y'all want to say about Cat. Cat was getting buckets, bro. On a bum knee with messed up hands, not making no excuses. I've seen everybody on that panel make excuses why they can't play, including Gilbert Arenas. Make excuses why he couldn't play. So boom, y'all need to shut up. Put some respect on Cat name, man. You know what I mean? He helped us get to the Eastern Conference Finals. For sure. Us getting to the Eastern Conference Finals was a team effort. It was nice that OG had it going. It was nice that Macau had it going. It was nice that Cat had it going. It was nice that whatchamacallit? JB had it going. It was nice that Deuce they came off the bench and gave us some vital minutes. Like the list goes on. But the call Cat soft, all the shit that he been through this season, to stay on the court and play and give defense is not his thing, gang. That's it.
And we knew that.
The organization knew that.
And think about it. He took over the place of a guy who also didn't play defense.
You know, it is what it is. People see what they want to see.
And then on that note, Anna, the same guy who ended up talking shit about us now that he's over in Minnesota, back in Cancun now. So fuck him.
Right. Before us.
Fuck him.
Yeah, you know. But it is what it is. The Knicks is gonna be back next year, and I promise you that. You're gonna be right back to Eastern Conference Finals next year. Who gonna stop us? Because Boston, not only is Tatum injured, they're in a space where they're gonna have to break up that team financially.
They're not gonna have Horford. They're not gonna have Holiday. They're not gonna have
Probably
Porzingis.
not gonna have Horford. Maybe not Derek White.
They just got bought by a group of people who had to pretty much go and beg for the rest of the money to buy the team.
Damn.
Right. They're not gonna pay $1 billion in luxury tax.
So, and I said beg. I use the word beg, like very like
loosely,
maliciously. I use the word beg maliciously. You know what I mean? I'm using that word very maliciously. They had a lot of the money, but they definitely had to get some other people to come and chip in to help purchase the team. And I feel like I don't give a fuck how rich you are. At this point, the way that these NBA teams is worth, most of them, especially Boston, nobody could buy that shit outright. But and maybe except for like 4 or 5 people in the whole entire world, but still having to do that and be like, yeah, we just gonna pay all this luxury checks. Don't be surprised if Tatum or Brown is traded this offseason.
I think you would only be able to trade Brown and not Tatum since Tatum's injured.
It depends. Remember, look at KD.
True, but no.
If they don't get rid of one of the two main guys, they're gonna have to get rid of Porzingis and Derek White.
KD signed, but it's still the same premise. We know we traded for you knowing that it's gonna take a year. You know what I mean? But Tatum is younger than KD was. Ain't got more on his contract than KD did.
That's true.
What are you talking about, go get it? Are you talking about the players not liking Rick Brunson? Because that's cap.
That's been debunked a long time ago.
That's cap.
What he said?
No, he said, did y'all see what they said about Rick Brunson? So I was asking him what was he talking about?
We already spoke about that.
Yeah, I don't really talk. Let me say this real quick because I didn't get to get on that topic yet. I don't really think I could go back to that pod on the roommate with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart when James Dolan was on the pod. And he said it clearly that our starting 5 was going to be the core. So when it comes to that, I don't really see no major moves with our starting 5. What I do think though is we should build up the bench a little bit more. Let's get some more pieces. I think John Collins is a perfect piece. Karis LeVert. Some way, somehow, we got to get some more pieces. Maybe a Delon White would be better. I feel like defensively, him and Shamit brought some more intensity on that side of the ball than Cameron Payne did. I think Cameron Payne was like, I think the reason why he lost his minutes was the stupid fouling that he was doing all the time. I think that's what cost him minutes. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that we should, if we fix up the bench, maybe get some taller players on that bench, and I think we should be just fine. But I think training for Giannis, that just doesn't.
Huh? Have you kind of walked right into my wheelhouse, homie? I'm talking about taller players, right? Chicago just made
Right.
Lonzo Ball available. Now hear me out.
Oh shit.
Hear me out. I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. I get the injury history. I get it.
To come off the bench, I'm with it.
Sis. Sis, why you just said you just said
Mm.
the words that was about to come on my mouth, you said, huh. I got you.
I
I
threw the
got the words,
alley-oop.
nigga. I got the
No,
words,
no,
nigga.
you blocked. You
Yeah.
goaltended his shot. That's what you did.
For sure. But yeah,
Offensive interference.
that needs to be the move. He can score a little bit. He defends at a high level.
I don't know,
Uh,
man. I'm not.
I don't know if I can
I'm.
deal with his dad though.
huh?
No way.
I don't know if I can deal with his dad.
Bro, it's New
Mm-mm.
York, bro. We dealt with big.
Oh,
You
Rick
got to deal with
Brunson
Oh
will
the
have
my.
that in check.
we had to deal with the New York media. Like he's no worse than the New York media for sure.
But now you're
I'm
giving
saying
him the platform though. That's the big baller brand. No quit all
we
day. Yes,
we
sir. New
we
York.
know
I,
what's up. We know what's up. We had to deal with big personality. We had to deal with the questions of Latrell Sprewell choking his old coach. We had to deal with Stephon Marbury saga. We had to deal with the Carmelo Anthony saga. We had to deal with Phil Jackson violating everybody. We had to deal with all that.
That's
I
true.
And
think we'll be fine,
and it
right?
may be a little different. Remember,
listen,
he
man.
just came from being sick and
Nah,
stuff.
he
Mm-mm.
only got one leg
Nah.
for real. Nigga only got one
No
leg.
way.
So then why would we want him?
No. No. No
No, no,
way.
no.
No
I'm
way.
talking.
You know
I'm talking
what?
about
I'd
no, no.
rather you talking
Lamar,
about Karis LeVert.
Lamar.
You. You. You.
Hold on.
You talking.
Lamar
You
only
talk.
got one leg, right? That's who I'm talking about. Only got one leg, and I know where you going, Kev. You talking about Karis LeVert being injury, and then Lonzo Ball is way better than Karis LeVert. It's not even close.
When
Not
they're on
even
the floor,
close.
when they're on the floor,
Mm-mm.
but I mean, come on now.
No, when they
But
both
Mm-mm.
I
on the
think,
floor,
okay,
Kev.
hold on, y'all, hold on. So I think we're
Mm-mm.
looking at Lonzo Ball for what he is to the Bulls. We're only gonna need him maybe 15 minutes a game.
Yeah, but for 82 games.
That's bruh. All right, 10
15
minutes a
minutes a
game. He can't
game.
give us 82 games at 10 minutes.
Depending on who the coach is, we don't know who that is.
Obviously, it's not Tibbs.
For his sake, it's not. Thank for his sake, thank you. It's not Tibbs because he'd be freaking injured at training camp. He'd be
But
injured
I
right
feel
now.
like having him, and I'm not, I'm here or there. It doesn't matter. But
There's
I
some.
think it's a good
Listen.
option.
Listen. There's
Look,
some
I
good
think it's a
names.
good
There's some.
option, especially if you want to develop a Tyler. Because you put Tyler with him on the court and Josh, Tyler's
No
not really a
way. No
liability
way.
defensively.
You. 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 You know what? I'd rather bring in Chris Paul. I will take
Ah, you
my
bugging.
chances with Chris
Ah, you
Paul
bugging.
before I
Kev,
get
you bugging.
Lonzo
Kev,
Ball.
that's high
I
level bugging.
promise you.
High
I
level
am
bugging.
not bugging. I am not
For sure
bugging,
you bugging.
kid.
For
But
sure you bugging.
no, it's not
Chris
high
Paul,
level bugging, bro. Everywhere,
not the
you're
Spurs.
not. So
Not the
But they
Spurs.
ain't win a chip.
I can't talk.
You can talk.
Everywhere he's
You're
went, bro,
breaking up
he's
though.
he's he's been able to turn thing around, bro.
But we don't
Not the
need
Spurs.
someone to
He
turn us
has
around,
that
Kev. We
experience.
there.
Lonzo bro is just a injury waiting
Cap.
to.
Oh, you know why this cap? Oh, it's cap. It's cap, Kev.
I'm not with it, bro. I'm
It's
not
cap,
with it.
Kev. I'm gonna tell you why it's cap.
I'm not with
I'm gonna tell you why it's cap.
Lonzo Ball.
Because on the Spurs, Chris Paul showed that he was old. Didn't turn shit around with the Spurs
It's
for sure. You know what I mean? And then
not.
you talking about Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball
We talking
when he
about Chris Paul here, not Lonzo
before
Ball. Chris
before he
Paul. We
got
talking
hurt,
about Chris Paul.
Kev, before he got hurt on the Bulls, they were running through
Okay.
people
Hmm.
before he got hurt on the Bulls. Yes, Lonzo Ball on the Bulls when they had Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, they was fucking everybody up before Lonzo Ball got hurt. They was fucking everybody up.
I think just think about it because we don't need him to do what he's doing on the Bulls.
And
we don't.
why would you want fucking 42-year-old Chris Paul over Lonzo Ball?
I'm just saying that I'd rather take a chance. Because them injuries, his injury history is a problem for me.
Hold on. Guess what, Kev?
It's a problem for me.
42-year-old Chris Paul got hurt this year. What are you talking about?
He gets hurt every year. What's your point?
My point is that.
Right. But Chris Paul completely went to Phoenix and took that team to the finals, and the next year when he was gone, they completely turned to shit.
Gang,
but we don't need someone to turn us around.
You're talking about 38 Chris Paul
completely turned to
40.
shit.
You're talking about 38 Chris
I ain't see Lonzo
versus 40-year-old Chris Paul. That's a
will take
huge
no team
difference.
to the.
He's not LeBron.
Fine, out.
He's not LeBron.
I'm not.
LeBron. Am I tripping?
I think he froze.
Oh, I thought I was tripping. I
thought I just blew a gasket. One of the two.
Lonzo Ball over Chris Paul for sure.
I'll do that for sure too.
If you're asking me, I wouldn't even take either one of those guys, and I would look at somebody else. I would like for somebody who's a little bit more durable, because both of those are kind of question marks. You're taking a huge risk, and depending on what their ask is, because remember, we don't have a lot of wiggle room in terms of salary. We have like a $5 million mid-level, and then just nothing but bet minimums going forward.
At this point, Lonzo's taking the minimum game. At this point, he's taking a minimum.
Nice.
And you know why? Because his pops is going to be like, yo, you have a chance to probably win a championship, which is going to raise his stock tremendously. And
your baller brand is going to make all type of shit money in New York.
Yeah. If Lonzo stays healthy and win a championship in New York, his stock is going back through the roof.
His salary right now is only $10 million.
And that's before he got hurt. That was his salary was. Before he got hurt in Chicago, that's
but this upcoming season, his salary is $10 million, and then team option 2026-27.
So you're talking about a trade. So who you moving to get him over here?
They're gonna take anything, bro.
Right. Take some picks. Get them fucking second round picks.
We only have one tradable.
Huh?
We only have one more tradable pick.
And most of the bench is free agents for sure.
But
you can do sign and trade.
Yep. DeLon.
Sign and trade. Yo, Lonzo's he's not first with pick worthy. Nobody's trading the first pick for Lonzo.
No.
I'll say campaign, a second round pick, call it a day. Sign and trade campaign.
So Precious is gone, free agent. Cam, DeLon Wright, Shamet, McCullough, which I would like to see him. I need to see him play.
Who?
Kevin McCullough.
Blaine said. He was a good college player. That's all I know.
He was a good college player. We just haven't seen him on the court at all.
And Steve put me onto his game. So for him and Tyler Kolek. So I mean,
I've seen his movements, how he moved on the court. That's all I got for you.
Yeah. So you got a club option for PJ Tucker, a club option for Hariel Hukporti.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker stays on the team.
Yeah, PJ Tucker stays on.
For Udonis Haslem reasons.
Exactly. That's the only reason why you keep him. Yeah. So you got DeLon Wright, you got Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne, and Precious Achiuwa, and then Peter Kaponen, restricted free agent. Marjan Beauchamp, restricted. Kevin McCullough's a restricted. Anton Watson's a restricted. I mean, not a lot of wiggle room unless you make a trade. And at this point, I mean, you're not talking. I mean, unless you're trading somebody, that we really like a Josh Hart or a Mitchell Robinson or something like that.
I mean, you could do a sign and trade Precious.
Yeah,
Precious salary's at $6 million, so that's almost right there.
And all he would need to do is sign a contract for somewhere along $10 million since we're in the first apron.
Right.
You have to sign a $10 million, but Chicago would have to agree to that, and they would have to want him.
Precious.
I'm just looking at. I don't mean it that I don't want Precious. I'm just looking at
I got you.
What we could give up that we're not gonna lose a bunch of players.
I'm trying to figure it out in my mind, like, man,
because under Precious money wise is Deuce.
That's it, and you already know that Deuce is.
And that's a move I wouldn't do. I'm not trading Deuce for him.
But that's the move that everybody's gonna want because. Who else on this roster is a team going to be like, you know what? We'll make this deal, but I want that guy.
Right.
Who's going to be the Dante of the deal?
You know why you don't do Deuce? He is the most undervalued contract on the roster outside of Jalen Brunson. Outside of Jalen Brunson, he's by far the most undervalued contract.
Bro, he's already made that money in play.
And when he got 2 more years left on that?
Yep. 4.3 next year and
13 mil, like that's crazy.
Averaging 10 points off the bench. What we talking about? We're not trading that guy.
No.
We're not doing another Dante for that. Leon Rose is throwing a Frank stand at anybody who asks for him. Unless you're talking about us getting like one of them ones. We got to be one of them ones. And like, I mean, not one of them ones. I take that back. It's a superstar. Because one of them ones is like the elite of elites. But it got to be like a star for us to be like, yeah, we're going to add Deuce into that at his contract. Don't make sense.
It makes sense.
We see some crazy shit happen, though. So you never know.
This is why I say Lonzo might be it. You know what I mean? Because after he came back from that major shit, he was reasonably healthy this season.
But you know what? Let's put it to the fans. Somebody in the super chat, let us know. What do you think of what T-Tom is recommending here? Lonzo Ball. Do we make a move for Alonzo Ball to add to this team? Type yes. Type Y for yes and for no. Let us know what you guys think.
And look at him already earning his value on the squad.
Everything we forget to do.
Man, bruh, I be wanting to do shit like that, but I be, it's tea time. it's tea time. You feel me? I do what I do. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen to Knickerbocker. Yeah, I mean, do what he just said. Yes or no for Lonzo Ball, for sure. I think that, to me, spelling what you call it, JB, that's tough. That's tough. I just want a bucket getter. If we can get one bucket getter that's off the bench and surround
or give Deuce the go ahead.
I'm not giving him any more green lights. He's had enough of me. Thank you.
You know why I don't want to give Deuce the green light? He can't get past people.
That's exactly why. He's great at in the open floor. He's great at a catch and shoot, but then when you're setting up in the half court, he can't fight through screens. He's usually getting pinned down down on the wing. So it's really like you would want another option. And that's what Campaign was supposed to be, considering that he's a 3-point specialist, quote unquote. And we saw him what he did when he was in Philadelphia in that series last year. But I mean,
I think Campaign problems, he don't mix up his game enough.
There isn't anything to his game.
I think that punk fake and that drive to the basket is one of his greatest weapons. I just feel like
which one? The one that he missed every damn layup at the rim?
I feel like he don't finish. I was just about to say he don't finish well enough. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you, Darlene. Thank you. Thank you.
what
I agree with you.
Alonzo, he's injury prone. Yeah, he is. I never said that. I never said he wasn't. I just said that I feel like at the minutes that we would play him coming off the bench, he'll be all right.
Okay. Let me say this to that. OG played all season. We have a great training team. OG played for the first time all season.
Yeah, 79 games.
Talk that shit, sis.
So, I mean,
and
I think
I heard largely.
I think $10 million is worth the risk.
Sis, I heard this. I don't know if this verified truth, but I heard the bread that he left on the table was meant to go to the Knicks training staff.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's true or not. I heard that's how he signed the contract. Like, yo, if I'm gonna sign, like the money that I didn't sign for, yeah, I gotta pay for the training staff and all that shit.
Well,
I mean, I don't think he needed to say it because I mean we've heard like players, including like we just was Kenya Martin, saying that the Knicks organization was the best in giving the players what they needed behind closed doors.
Well,
training staff.
Dolan said it too. They was like the Knicks is
good at keeping his players happy. Dolan, you can say a lot about James Dolan in terms of his ownership and his antics, but when it comes to taking care of his players, he is probably among the leaders in terms of building that rapport and that camaraderie with his players. Because I've heard some things Carmelo Anthony were talking about. I think I even heard Tyson Chandler once talk about he'll be Dolan's the kind of guy that will lend you his private jet to go visit somebody who's on their dying bed and it's like, wow. I'm like,
yeah.
You wouldn't think that of somebody who's garnered the reputation of being a petulant child or an asshole, but yeah, he takes care of his players. I'll give him that.
What about this one?
Well, read it to me. I can't see it small, and I'm trying.
Give me Cam Thomas from Brooklyn.
He's a bucket getter.
Give me Cam Thomas. He's a bucket getter, but they're not letting Son go.
I was about to say, I'm surprised we got McCall. They're not giving us something else.
Yeah, they're not giving it. We don't got 12 picks to give him.
Yeah, and he's young. And I listen, I've had this debate with a certain individual for a long time. Cam Thomas, I don't got no smoke for him. Yeah, I mean he's a bucket getter. But when it comes down to what this team needs, bucket getter is one. But Cam don't play no defense. That's another thing.
He doesn't.
Like none. I'm not saying like he plays a little. He reminds me of Alonzo Tria. Tria was a bucket.
He was.
For sure. I felt like he was unguardable, but he couldn't guard nobody.
He gave up double.
He is unguardable, but couldn't guard nobody. I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
I think it's time for your nap now, bro.
Yeah, we are hour over his time.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
Tea time is Mimi time.
It's for sure. I'm not even gonna lie to you and say it wasn't. So boom, let me get my shit.
Hold on, let me post one picture just to talk about what we was talking about. Well, not talk about. We're gonna end it.
I love them too, Wilton. But there you go.
The team that don't like each other out on Monday night.
Bro.
I'm just saying, we know what it is. We just got to show the haters what it is.
Before I get up out of here, one time for your mom. I don't know if it's going to start all over again. Or is it gonna start from where is that? Yeah, it's gonna start from where is that. So I'm not even gonna do it.
69 mugshot. Get off our page. Who the?
So this
Right.
is
You need to get off of. You need to go go to KFTV. It's
what
cool.
he did. What he did, I can't see.
He said the Knicks need to trade Brunson. He is clutch and he can score, but he plays no defense and his height is a problem.
That was a go get it.
Right.
Oh, nah.
With 6'9" on the
So yeah, listen. I got two things to do now, right? This team wouldn't nearly get as far as it did without Brunson, right? I think we could win the championship with Brunson because he's official like that. The problem was we didn't have a coach at the time that figured out how to get Neesmith the fuck off of Brunson. I mean, it's just that simple. We needed a coach to figure out how to get Neesmith off of Brunson. We watched a coach in Rick Carlisle that found a way to get Mikal Bridges off of Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton was shooting 30% from the field, 11% from three, when Mikal was the primary defender. Rick Carlisle said, "Oh, that's not about to happen," and found a way to get Tyrese Halliburton the favorable matchups. There's your fucking difference. Everybody want to do, oh, JB too small. No, we are in a mismatch hunting league.
Yep.
And JB kills people twice his size. The fuck is you talking about?
On a nightly basis.
But we didn't have a coach. No disrespect to Coach Tommy T. I appreciate everything that he did. Facts are facts, though. We had a coach that didn't mismatch hunt. There was no emphasis for our bigs and other guys that set solid screens. Everybody slips. Everybody, including Mitchell Robinson, who's the biggest body on our fucking team, slips. Nobody set those screens. You know, have you ever been screened and you made that sound? Yeah. Nobody set those on our team. That's the difference. That's all I'm saying. That's the difference. You know what I mean? You don't got to trade Jalen Brunson. Just got to have a coach to maximize and be able to hide his weaknesses.
Bro, where is all this JB hate coming from?
Somebody else?
Yeah.
If the Knicks get a guy like Steph Curry and Giannis, now we're talking championship. Brunson is never going to win with the Knicks. The Knicks are better off getting
Go to bed.
Durant.
Go to bed. Please, go to bed. It's past your bedtime.
Where are these people coming from?
I don't never throw the Frank stand at people like that.
Go to bed. You guys have had too much. You're not supposed to drink the bong water. You know that, right?
Yo, listen.
Jesus Christ.
Trading for Giannis will ruin this team. Facts. You're going to have to give up too much.
Trading Brunson will give us the worst karma ever in life. We thought Pat karma was bad.
We're still suffering from
that. We still trying to recover.
We keep the starting five for sure, right?
But we adjusted.
Exactly.
Josh Hart is not starting.
You start Mitch and Cat. And force people have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, stop. The crazy part about the league is, right, is a copycat league. Everybody see one thing and everybody feel like that's what we have to do. But when you have tremendous talent in certain positions, you put the talent on the floor and force everybody to conform to you. Remember, there was a point where nobody was playing two bigs at one time until San Antonio did it. And everybody's like, we kind of got to get two guys out there to guard these niggas. And I feel like we have the same opportunity to change the landscape of the league. Mitchell Robinson is so good at what he does on the offensive boards. It's going to force people to be like, all right, we're going to put somebody just the size net Mitchell Robinson, right? Cat, even though he doesn't have the greatest post moves, but he can post people up. Most people, there's no prototypical fours anymore. That's a fact. You got oversized threes and undersized fives as fours.
Or regular size fives that play the four.
You hear what I'm saying? So I feel like there's room for everybody to, I mean, for the Knicks to take advantage of mismatches. And I'm drunk, so I'm out. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Knickerbocker Ave, appreciate you for pulling up. You know what I mean? We need, sis, we got to add him to the group chat.
I got you. I was going to do that when we get off.
And you got to let us know where you do those spaces. I don't like spaces, but I'll show up for you.
I was on it today.
She was on it despite all the technical difficulties that she's been having the last couple of times. But X Spaces on Twitter, X, whatever they call it. You follow me at Knickerbocker Avenue on that. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Threads. We will have we won't be doing the space next week, but we will be doing it in 2 weeks when we'll give the final grades for all the New York Knicks players. I would really appreciate you guys to show up, you know, give some insight. We have a lot of fun. We joined the knowledgeables with Steve, Dom, Mr. Live. Sometimes G shows up and a couple other people, but man, I am very thankful and blessed to be part of the Knicks and Ish family. This is going to be a crazy offseason. This is going to be a crazy season. The orange and blues continue for now, but it will end.
I'm just going to let you know, Knickerbocker, how much I fuck with you because I hate spaces. So
I did too. I actually, this wasn't even my idea. I was like, let's go on another platform or something like that. X Spaces just happened to be free. It's easy. Everybody's on it. It's like, okay. So,
I hate the Knicks Twitter of spaces. That's just my thing. But
I hate Knicks Twitter altogether. Really.
See, Mrs. Knicks has been telling me about Knicks Twitter. Like when we first started Knickerbocker Ave, what was it, like 13, 15 years ago, something like that. And she was telling me about what's going on Twitter. I'm like, I'm afraid to open the Twitter page. And then I finally opened one and I'm like, now I see it. And I'm like,
yeah. But for you, I'm outside.
Bipolarism is real.
Like I always had it and I never got on it. But when I started on Knicks and Ish, I'm like, okay, I need to promote.
Right.
They have a big, the Knicks community is big. It's just a dysfunctional family, to say the very least.
People are corny. But yo, I'm really out of here. Yo, let me do my shit so I could leave. We could chop a little bit after this, but just let me sign off this shit. Shout out to everybody that pulled up tonight. If you didn't do so already, sharing is already caring. Make sure you hit that like button. If you need some Knicks and Ish merch, and it's not only just t-shirts. You also got, I'm sipping out a Knicks and Ish whiskey glass. Look at that. But make sure you go to the link at the bottom of the screen. If not, the YouTube has the Knicks and Ish Shopify on it. Subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Set it to all. And I think I did everything.
You definitely did. Now it's time for you to go to bed.
For sure. Hit
that outro.
Hit that outro.
Thank you. Hold on.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, yeah, them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom bap the melody rap. If they can put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it.